Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Why Are You an Entrepreneur? All about the trials and triumphs. I'm Maureen Edwards with 8 Simple Steps, and you know what tonight means. This is when I bring you rock star entrepreneurs at very different stages of their journey who are going to share some words of wisdom with you, how they've overcome some of the toughest challenges, and give you some best practices and some tips and tricks out there to help you in your business. Now, if you're just tuning in for the replay, we are here every single Thursday at 5 p.m. And tonight is no exception. I know this person personally, and she has just an amazing aura about her. So I want to introduce you to the founder and CEO of Money, Power, Freedom, Jessica Marie. Welcome.
Hey, Maureen, so glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
How could I not? You are probably one of the most spiritual people I've ever met, most positive. And I think you're the perfect rock star to be here tonight and have this conversation to help others out there. So I would like you to first share, which is the question I start off with, is why are you an entrepreneur? How have you come to this journey?
Oh, that's such a great question. And it's such a big question, too, because, my journey towards entrepreneurship is really a purpose driven journey. And, you know, living life and you get to a certain point in your life. I got to a certain point in my life. And I find as we get older, we start to really ponder these bigger questions in life like, what is my real purpose here? Like, what am I meant to do? How am I giving back and contributing to the world? And I knew that what I was doing in my corporate sales job was not fulfilling my soul's mission here on earth. I knew I wasn't using the skills and the gifts that I was given to give. And so that's really how I came into this entrepreneurial role was a lot of self-reflection and contemplation about am I really doing what I'm meant to be doing here on earth? And I feel like there's a certain level of fulfillment that comes when you are doing what you're supposed to be doing, what feels good, what makes you come alive. A lot of people live for the weekend. You hear a lot of people talk about living for the weekend. It's Friday, it's Friday. I want to live like that. I want to live for every day, not just the weekend.
Oh gosh. All right. So you left corporate, which is cushy. We get that steady paycheck coming in. And yes, we're making everybody else rich, right? We're working off their dreams. But how has that transition been from that corporate steady kind of structure now? Like, what has been the challenge going into owning your own company?
Oh my goodness. That was the biggest leap I think I've ever made in my entire life. I had the most cushy, secure, comfortable position in my last role. And that's what made it so hard to leave. It's not like I wanted to get out of there because it was toxic. I had the best team, the best managers, the best clients, and God, I made great money there too. But I knew there was more to my life than selling that service and that product. And took the biggest leap. I had to be brave. I had to be bold. And I knew from taking other bold and brave leaps that on the other side of fear is greatness. There's magic and miracles on the other side of fear if you are willing to push through the fear. And so I did it, and I did it in the most radical way. I did it when I didn't even have a steady income coming in from the little business that I was building on the side. It's not like I had, even replaced half of my income. I went all in, and I'm like starting from zero. Luckily, I have a partner who has an income, but we dropped our household income in half, in half.
Wow. Wow, that is taking a risk. That is really taking a risk. Now, I know you've been working on this for a while, so kind of on the side. So I think you maybe had an exit plan in your head, right? Like,
Oh,
I
yeah.
know there's a plan here.
Yeah. I've always believed that I am my best investment because I determine the outcome based on the effort I put in, and I'm in control of the effort I put in. I'm in control of all the actions that I take. So I've always believed that, and based on my past and what I have proven to myself, I have the evidence to support that I can do whatever I put my mind to. Um, and then things did start gaining momentum. And you know, the the really important thing that I want to highlight here, the most important thing that I've learned along this journey is finding what works for you.
Mm.
Because so many times I have followed other people's strategies, and, roadmaps, blueprints, and they could be a good kind of outline and framework,
Right.
but you also have to make it your own because you have your own energy, you have your own ways of doing things. And
I think
so,
that's so smart advice because there are a lot of processes out there that have worked for a lot of people, but they're not you, right? They're You have your business and it's unique. So I think that's good advice for people out there to investigate, to maybe try it, take the pieces that work here, here, or here.
yeah,
But you know what your business needs.
yeah, and like the saying goes, you're better off being yourself because you're not going to be someone else better than that person will be themselves, right? And so, like other people's strategies, try them on, take what works, but make it your own, because if you do it meticulously, like I did, I it just didn't work. And I'm like banging my head, like, why isn't this working? I'm the sort of person, give me the recipe, give me the directions. I will follow it to a T. If you say this is going to work, I'm going to do it and it should work. But what I've realized is we each have our own flavors, our own spices, our own energies and ways of connecting with the world, and that makes us unique. That makes us totally different than everybody else. And so that was a really big thing that I learned.
It's interesting you're saying this because it's authenticity, right? You have to be authentic and true to yourself, or else the audience will know it, right? They will see the discomfort. They will not make the emotional connection unless you are really true to who you are and your values and the roadmap you create. That's a lesson. A lot of people don't know what they don't know, so they go and follow. And really, what it should just be is guidance and making things your own, and that's what you've done. So,
Yeah, yeah, that was a big one.
what have you found to be your greatest success so far? And before you even answer that, you've been very successful at this journey. I mean, starting out, it's relatively new, but I want you to tell people what you do because it is very unique. Um,
Mm.
in the entrepreneurial sense. Okay, so I don't know too many spiritual money consultants. Like I said, you have this really cool aura. So tell people what you actually do, the company you have.
Yeah, this is great. I love this because I literally just coined myself the radical money coach. My word for 2023 has been radical. I'm talking radical self acceptance, radical personal responsibility, radical forgiveness, radical communication, radical love. Like all of these things have been radical. And my unique approach to money, it's nothing short of radical. You know,
Mhm.
I am not mainstream. I am outside of the box. What I have done through my experience and everything I've learned was I've put together this beautiful marriage of the The mainstream traditional strategies and ways of managing money, and also the spiritual and energetic ways of being in relation to your money. I've put them together in this beautiful methodology that I call the Money Flow method. And the flow is FLOW, which are 4 simple steps. I love your 8 simple steps. 4 simple steps to align with the frequency of wealth and abundance, and also manage your money in a very concrete and fundamental way. It's brilliant to me. I mean, I'm so passionate about it that I want to share it with as many people as possible, because I know that the traditional mainstream way of teaching money management to people is only one side of the coin. It's not the whole puzzle, if you will. This energetic component is what has been missing all along. The masculine and the feminine are equally as important, and when you put them together, it just makes magic. It's absolutely beautiful. So that's what it is. That's what I do. I'm a radical money coach and a spiritual guide. So I mix the fundamentals and the concrete things with the more abstract and the energetics.
All right, so I'm going to dive a little bit deeper into this. Radical is a radical word, right? When people hear radical and branding yourself like that, you have to say, okay, who is my ideal target audience for this, money flow, roadmap workshop? Of course, I got my dog in the back. Do you hear his little claws
Oh
going
yeah,
back and forth?
it's cute. It's cute.
Oh,
Don't
yeah.
worry about it. Don't worry about it.
There's nothing formal here. This is messy, right? This is
Yeah,
real
yeah.
life,
This is
real
perfect.
conversation.
This is
Like,
what I like. This is what I like. The real deal.
yeah. So
Um,
tell me, who
yeah.
is your ideal person you want to serve?
So, right now, I specifically serve women.
Okay.
I have a feeling that in the future, that's going to open up. But right now, I'm very passionate about women. Women who have tried in the past to figure this money stuff out, but really haven't had any success. Accountants, um, money people like that will oftentimes, give budget templates, or, try and give direction. And I'm saying that because that was me as well. I could never get this budget thing to work. And I felt like such a failure. Like, why can't I create a budget that actually works? And so I've created a budget that actually works for everyone. And so if you have felt like, I haven't really been able to get this money thing to work, I've never found a budget that actually um, helps me in achieving my goals or building wealth. Um, Someone who has just tried things and nothing has really worked. These are the people that come to me because they're like, well, you know what? Maybe this radical outside the box approach will work because nothing else has worked so far.
So mostly women. Do you find that the majority of the people coming to you are people who are in debt or are not good money managers? Um, is that typically, or they have that weird relationship with money that it should be spent to make me feel good?
So, pretty much everyone has debt. And this is another thing that's really radical about my outlook and my understanding of money and debt is that debt has a really bad rap. And it's mainly because, you know, mainstream narratives have made us feel guilty or shameful if we have debt, when really the problem is, are you spending in alignment or are you spending out of alignment? Debt, cash and credit, they're all just forms of abundance. They're currencies we use to exchange goods and services. But if you have debt and it's all spent out of alignment with your highest truth, your purpose for being, then yeah, it's probably going to feel heavy. I was there. Let me tell you, before I set out on my debt free journey back in 2019, I was in a big, deep, dark hole of debt because I had spent all out of alignment. I was one of those people who had an unrealized sense of self worth. Yeah, and so I was a shopper, I was a spender. I would spend money on anything that I thought would make me feel good, make me feel important, make me look um, special or validate me, until I had to do that inner work and discover that, of course, I'm worthy. I was born worthy. Nothing has changed except for my mindset, my beliefs.
Yes.
This is a lot of inner work that needs to be done. So, debt is not the problem. Most people have debt. It's how you view your debt. You want to get out of debt, you can get out of debt. I mean, you create a plan, you track your progress, and you hit it. The thing is, what the bigger problem is: hating your debt, being in resistance to your debt, judging your debt. What does that create? That creates this frequency that is really negative, and it's really not going to attract more of what you really want, which is wealth and abundance. So
Right.
you're stuck in this energy of judgment and resistance and, dare I say, hate of your debt. But if you go backwards in time and you think about, how you got in debt, maybe you had gone to school, maybe you got a divorce.
Mhm.
All of these things that put you in debt are things that you wanted, you desired. And so, like, you're a business person, you got into a business agreement with the bank. They would lend you money and you would, pay it back in time with interest. And, you were really excited to get the money then. You were really grateful and happy you had that privilege to be able to borrow money. But then, a year down the line, all of a sudden you hate the debt, you're in resistance to the debt, you're judging the debt, and it's like there's a misalignment there.
Mm.
So what I teach my clients is, we can get you out of debt if that's what you want. You can have whatever you want. But as we're working towards getting you out of the debt, if that's your desire, let's be grateful for your debt. Let's remember how privileged and blessed you are and were to be able to even have that debt. Like, you wanted that at a time, right? So, like, these are radical ideas and concepts that I start to shift in people's minds about what it really means to have debt and how to feel about your debt. These are big.
I love this because now all of a sudden I'm thinking about, why would I be depressed over this? This has allowed me to fund an amazing 30th anniversary vacation, which is a huge milestone, right? So
Yes.
now, right. So now I'm actually thinking differently just by this conversation. So tell me, what's been your greatest success as an entrepreneur, although relatively new? What stands out for you?
Well, I gotta tell you, the biggest thing that has excited me lately are clients just falling out of the sky, apparently from nowhere. I've heard people say this before, like, clients just come out of nowhere. And I'm like, really? Like, is that really a thing? Does that really happen? And lately, I've been experiencing this thing where clients just come out of nowhere. And I'm like, I've never talked to you. I've never interacted with you on social media. Like, where did you come from? And it's like, oh my gosh, it's so exciting. It's just delightful. It's delightful. And all the work that I've put into my business, in showing up on social media, in sharing my message, is paying off, because all of those little videos I put out, all of the work that I've done, now I'm beginning to reap the rewards of that.
So, what type of marketing do you do, and what platforms are working for you?
Yeah. So I am at this point in the game, because I'm a solopreneur as well. I don't have a team. I'm a one woman show. I am focusing on a very streamlined one one platform, one strategy, pretty much one main offer. And Facebook is my preferred social media platform. I do have an IG account, but if you go there, it's really not active. There's not a lot there, but Facebook has everything. I have so much on Facebook.
That's great. And I love the concept, like one platform, one strategy, one offer.
Yeah.
I think that is fabulous because there's no confusion. Your messaging is spot on. The person understands the messaging spot on. They're not over here, over here, over here. And I don't know about you, but I see a lot of businesses, if you go in, I'm seeing somebody right now who owns a truffle company. She went in with 5 different types of truffles. Now she has like 30. That's a lot to offer people, and a lot of money and thought and time and ingredients and all this stuff. And I say to people, hone in, narrow it down, and really do it well. And I love that. One platform, one strategy, one offer. And
Yeah.
you're crushing it.
Yeah. And,
Wow.
and, and so I know that as I grow and my business grows, my offerings will grow.
Mhm.
But right now, while it's me, I like to keep it simple, Maria. I love your simple steps program. Like it's just so simple. It's clear, and because it's just me, it's got to be simple. It's got to be clear. It's got to be easy for me and also the receivers.
And I think I always say people are complicated. Business does not have to be complicated. I sometimes think we make it more complicated than it needs to be. But the advice you just gave is, you have 3 things that you focus in on. You have the one marketing that seems to be your main marketing is Facebook. You're
Hmm.
doing the videos, the communication. So it seems like that is your preferred one, which is awesome. And then you have the money flow method, and that
Hmm.
strategy to promote that is all very clear. So I appreciate that because that's what I do all day. That's what I work on all day is for people to get that messaging clear and streamlined and keep that simple. So, what words of wisdom would you give to somebody who is in corporate, who is tired of getting somebody else rich, who doesn't want to have a boss hanging over their head, who wants to control their destiny? What would you say to them?
I would say that if you have a desire in your heart, if there is something that makes you come alive and brings you joy, to not deny it or suppress it or reject it, because it's there for a reason. What I would say is to explore it, to play with it, have fun with it, allow yourself the time and space to see where it could go. It could be a hobby at first. It could be something that you begin to make money from next. And when the time comes and you're really feeling the pull and you want it so bad, you can see it. You can see your future. You can see your life in the day, that you will have to face a tough decision. You will have to face the fear of making that decision, because, a decision like that is really rooted in trust and faith. There's no evidence. You have no evidence to prove that it will work. And that's the biggest part, you know? There's no evidence. It's pure trust and faith in yourself, in your capabilities, and your gifts. And so you will have to make that tough decision. But let me tell you, on the other side is greatness. It's magical. There are miracles on the other side. It's it's spectacular. And don't get me wrong, it does come with challenges and ups and downs. But, you know, as Kim Walsh Phillips used to say, we are all born on purpose with a purpose. And when we use that purpose to contribute something back to the world, money is a byproduct of that.
I love that. So I'm going to ask you a question about failure. Do you think there is such a thing as failure?
That is an interesting question. It's all in how you look at it, right? Because, you know, some people or one side of my brain will say, well, yeah, of course, you can either succeed or you could fail. But I believe that there's lessons in even the failures, and that if you can find the lesson, then you can experience the blessing. And so through failure, we learn things. And as we learn things, we discover blessings. So, really, no, I don't think there is failures.
So, where do you want your company to be by the end of this year, early next year? I don't
Ah,
say 5 years because I think 5 years is too far out. I think we should always be thinking kind of macro and be building towards it, but I'm not going to ask you where you're going to be in 5 years. I'd like to know, we're almost halfway through the year. What is your goal for the end of the year and into 2024?
well, every year in January, we celebrate the Chinese New Year. I started a tradition with my kids and my partner. It's a lot of fun, and we put wishes on this wishing tree, and it's there all year. And that at the end of the year, we open up our wishes to see what was fulfilled. And we laugh and we have so much fun because oftentimes, well, pretty much every time, we forget what we even
Right.
wished for, and then oftentimes they come to fruition. And so I have had a wish that I put back on that tree for the last 2 years in a row. It was a certain revenue goal that I wanted to hit in my business. And so the last 2 years, I have put it back on the tree. And I am more than confident I'm going to blow past that one this year. So that's what I'm really hoping for.
Awesome. So tell me, we were talking about a workshop that you have coming up. Can you share that with the audience? I think you've got something special for everybody.
Yeah. So this is the thing. My money flow method is life changing. It's radical and it's life changing. I want to share it with as many women as possible because I know it's for the greatest good of all. And so I have a Facebook group. It's a free Facebook group where I have a lot of free mini trainings in there on spending less money at the grocery store. All kinds of little free mini trainings in there. And I decided that next week I'm going to go in there and I'm going to do a deep dive into my money flow method. I'm going to walk through each of the steps so that everyone can really understand what each step entails and how to walk away and implement it in their own lives. So if you want to, or if you're curious
I'm putting
about
it out there.
my money flow method,
Yep, there it is. If anybody would like to click the link, and can you give me the specific dates for it?
oh, you know what? I do. I just thought of this idea today and I put it out there. And so I actually don't even have a date yet, but it doesn't matter because you know what? Time for me is never a limiting factor because it will be there. You can watch it whenever you want, either in the live vibes or on the after party. It will be there at your convenience to watch. So it doesn't even matter the date. I haven't picked a date yet because it was just an idea that came to me today.
Well, they can join your Facebook group though, and
Absolutely.
the Facebook group is right there, and they can get all of those tips. Do you have a website too?
I do have a website, but it is in the process of being revamped. It needs to be updated because as I've grown and expanded and evolved, I feel like it doesn't reflect my current energy. And so I don't like sharing it because, I mean, I could share it, but just know that it needs an update. And that is moneypowerfreedom.ca.
So, how would you prefer people get a hold of you?
Oh, on Facebook. Oh, on Facebook. that is
Okay, that's
that
that.
is where
Yeah,
I live.
perfect.
Yep. Everything's there.
Well, Jessica, I have loved talking with you and catching up, and I hope you'll come back to share whether that revenue goal was hit
Oh,
or not. Even if it wasn't, so many huge milestones have been happening. So I believe me, we will be celebrating every one of them, regardless.
I would be thrilled to. I really would.
Great, great. Well, thank you so much. And that's a wrap for us, 30 minutes. And I hope that you've enjoyed this. And I have to tell you, the things that I have learned tonight, I'm totally reevaluating money. I want you to reach out to Jessica and let her know that you want to change things radically about your money situation. And for those of you who would like to be a guest, if you are an entrepreneur, you have a story to share, and I have an audience who needs to hear it, please reach out to me at 8simplesteps.net and goldfish at 8simplesteps.net as well. And if you want to take the hard out of converting customers, I've got the secrets on how to do it. So just let me know if I can help. All right, everybody, we are out of here, and I will see you next week. I got another rock star for you. All right.